The passion for cooking started when I was settled down in Sydney. So, just due to the sheer availability of good ingredients, I used to take off time and cook and treat a lot of friends over the weekends. And even today, a lot of my friends across the world keep talking about it. Oh, how we used to come to your place and enjoy a meal.
Hi everyone, I'm Suhasini Sood. Welcome to We the Chefs Food Talk with Sourish. We the Chefs is an online aggregator for home chefs with presence in Delhi NCR and Bangalore. We have partnered with more than 300 chefs who are excited and keen to bring their food and share it with all of you. We make this happen by collecting hot, authentic, freshly prepared food from their doorsteps and delivering it to you. In this series, Sourish will be talking to a different chef every week. They will be sharing their food journey with us, how their love for food started, what they've learned along the way, and their dreams and ambitions. They will also be giving us great insights into the cuisine that they love. So let's get started.
Hello and welcome to yet another exciting edition of Food Talk with Sourish. We have with us a gentleman from Bangalore. We all know about Bangalore as this great cosmopolitan city, but he also represents the foodie city that has been a part of Bangalore's culture and heritage for now about 2 centuries. So we have Kalyan Gopalakrishna, who runs his kitchen is called Carnivore Kitchen. He is the man who's sold on the Bangalore lamb and pork. We'll talk a lot about that subsequently. And interestingly, he comes from a line which we all consider to be very boring, namely finance. For us, the ultimate idea of a boring person is a person what we call bean counter. But Kalyan is hardly boring. He does the most interesting things, and we are going to have a very fascinating conversation about the food you make and the history and culture of that food. So welcome to the show, Kalyan.
Thank you, sir.
Let's get straight into the business of your past. You grew up in Bangalore. Can you talk about growing up in Bangalore, then choosing finance as a career, and then suddenly one day deciding to start cooking? What happened? Were you cooking the books? Something else?
Not exactly king. Having born and brought up in Bangalore, it's always been cosmopolitan city, and the food has always been in the forefront.
Mm-hmm.
So get to taste a lot of regional foods from different cuisines. We had neighbors who were from Kerala, we had neighbors from Punjab, we had neighbors from Bengal. So the food has always been there, and different food. So always, very early you got exposed to different cultures.
And Kalyan, your name is Gopalakrishna.
Yes.
So which means that you're not exactly what we call a Kannadiga. Though your family has been in Bangalore for now several generations.
Well,
a bit about your family. How did they come to Bangalore and settle down?
I'm a staunch Kannadiga by birth. My mother tongue is Telugu. That is what makes this country beautiful, right? I speak Telugu, but I'm a Kannadiga.
Fantastic.
In fact, I was the top scorer of Kannada in my 10th.
Wow.
In the state. So anyway, coming to my family background, say back in 1850s, 60s, my ancestors on my father's side migrated from Andhra Pradesh and settled down in what we know as Old Bangalore, just outside Cubbonpete.
Yeah.
And what it is like Cubbonpete, Chickpete. This is the old commerce area, it's a market basically.
So Pete was part of the deal. So everyone who grew up there had something to do with Pete Puja. What does Pete mean?
Pete, it is not Pete, it is Pete. In Kannada, it is Pete, but in English, we shorten it to Pete. Basically, it means a mohalla. So back, as you know, Bangalore was Bangalore as in its present state was founded by British in 1700s. And as and when the new migrants came, they were all relegated to the old city.
Yeah.
Like just outside the Cubbonpete, what we know as Cubbonpete today. Just outside that, we were all relegated there. And you had people coming from different states like Tamil Nadu, like the Maratha region, Andhra Pradesh, and up north from, say, Rajasthan. All these places, people migrate and settle down in that town.
So, Karnataka, or specifically Bangalore, owes its cosmopolitan culture, which it's so proud of today, to many decades ago. It's like the seeds were laid in the 1700s.
Yes.
Then your family came in the mid 1800s, and so you say that you belong to the caste or a community known as the Devangs.
Yes.
Who are the Devangs?
So going back in the history, like my ancestors were part of Vijayanagara Empire and they were warriors. They basically belong to the warrior class.
Yes.
But after the demise of Vijayanagara Empire, they're relegated to doing some business.
Right.
From what I could make out, we've been weaving saris for a long time.
The famous Bangalore silks.
Yes, the famous Bangalore silk as we know of it today, we do. I mean, our community people do that, and my extended family members are all in that business.
Wow.
So my father was one of the first engineers in our community. So we got into private sector, and we all got educated, and we are working.
And then you studied, you did finance. You're also an engineer by training.
I joined engineering. Midway, I decided that's not my cup of tea. So I got into finance, and I was working as a derivatives analyst.
Yeah, and derivatives, as far as I know from a limited understanding of finance, is like the gold standard of banking.
And it used to be here, and all the regulations.
Yeah.
So it used to be glamorous.
Yes.
So now, after that, I came back to India and settled.
Okay, so to cut a long story short, you were somewhere in the early 2010s, you decided to give up in your career as an investment banker. So obviously there could be two reasons. You made enough money and you didn't want to make any more, or you got tired of making money. So in between,
I would say nota.
none of them. Yes. So how did you get into cooking and and made it a profession? Sort of.
So the passion for cooking started when I was settled down in Sydney. So I mean, just due to the sheer availability of good ingredients, I used to take off time and cook and treat a lot of friends over the weekends. And even today, a lot of my friends across the world keep talking about it. How we used to come to your place and enjoy a meal.
Right.
So it was not limited to our own food, but I cooked a lot of grills, barbecue, all these things used to do. Just because good meat was available, and I used to enjoy treating. That is how it started.
Right.
And, back home, I mean, I don't.
And when did you move back to India?
In 2004, after I got married, we decided to settle down here, and we have been here since then.
And also, you were saying that your family, or anyone who lives in that the pet neighborhood, the old neighborhoods of Bangalore, your first passion is food. No matter what you do. Either you're weaving silks or you're, looking into accounts of others. you love first love is food.
What is the case? I mean, since childhood, from what I can remember, either discussion over coffee, or worst case scenario, discussion over dinner as what we were doing the first. And believe me, I mean, heads will roll when those dishes doesn't matter. Like. If there's any change of plans suddenly for whatever reason, I mean, we all make faces and stuff about it. So that has been the case.
So what would be your typically say a Sunday breakfast dish, the standout dish,
I won't say Sunday, all days, except, I mean, say any given day, we have very traditional breakfast, which currently my wife cooks.
Yeah, wow.
Very though in between a busy schedule, she does make sure.
Yeah, she's a professor of journalism.
Yes.
And yet, every morning at 7:30, you will say,
7:30 to 8 breakfast time. We make sure that I am fed and that she also feeds.
Right.
I mean, takes care. So we always have traditional home food for breakfast. That probably is the biggest meal of the day.
And what would be the standout dish of this traditional meal?
See, typically we again, like any Bangalore household, we are more into the rice items for breakfast. Like we have, say, vegetable pulao.
Wait, would that be the bisi bele bhat or is it
That
different?
is another variant.
Okay.
Vegetable bath is more widely.
Right.
Yeah, we also have our own variation of this,
Right.
which is very rich again with a lot of vegetable
Yeah.
ingredients. So we do that.
Yeah.
Apart from that, we have something called as chitrana.
Yeah.
Then you have
Chitrana.
chitra.
Okay.
Literal meaning is picture rice, or chitra is a picture or colorful. So
Left.
mostly a turmeric rice
Right.
dinner and very flavorful.
Right.
That goes very well with what we have here.
Right.
That pepper roast.
Right.
That's a super combo.
Right.
So at least once or twice a week we do manage to have that.
Wow. You just imagine, the flavors and the aroma of this pepper roast itself is so enticing. And with this lovely healthy rice, for want of a better, it can be such a great combination,
Before I took my flight to Durga,
Yeah.
that is what I had.
Wow. Okay.
I land. So this is very interesting. This particular dish, butter pepper roast. This is always been the first dish any of our family members would have when we return from abroad or
Okay. Right.
that is what. I mean, this for ages. Dad used to travel back in the 90s. Then my brothers, with my brothers. Then I started. Everyone, first meal is rasam and the rasam.
Wow. Okay.
That's a typical.
Okay.
Also, when you're sick,
Yeah.
typically because of some viral infection and fever, and you're just getting out of it, this is the first craving that you would get. And this opens up all the
Yeah.
vital.
And it must be quite hot if it is a mutton pepper roast.
Yes, it is. It is. Not very, but yes, it will open all.
Yeah. The pepper has that subtle kick, as I say.
It basically opens up all your senses, and you're back in action.
Fantastic. So, if you begin your day with mutton pepper roast, how will the day progress, I mean, you've already set your standards so high,
Well, that's the best part. I mean, you have the kitchen in the morning, and later on we kind of wind down.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, it is a very healthy way of eating,
Yes.
You eat like a king, and, as they say, you sort of wind down, and by the evening, you don't want to, you shouldn't be eating a lot, So, I see that you have a chicken pulao, We'll come to, of course, this whole pulao and biryani thing, later. But, and I see that chicken pulao is made with short grain rice.
Yes, that is called Juja Samdal.
Yeah.
So that is predominantly this is the rice we use for.
Contrary to what is happening in the north, where people use basmati.
At the same time, the mutton pulao that I make,
Right.
Bangalore mutton pulao, we use basmati.
Okay. We'll come to Bangalore mutton because that's a story by itself.
Like I said, my ancestors have been merchants, and they've been in the business, they've traveled enough. So they probably picked up this from north, and we use grain basmati rice in our pot.
Okay.
I think probably we are the only people, like even in mid south, who use
Basmati for more interesting.
But the chicken, we prefer this because
Frankly, I love jeera sambar. It's sort of, it sort of absorbs all the flavors of the meats and the masalas.
wait till you taste.
I can almost. And as we say in We the Chef's House, we taste stories.
Yes.
So that's the advantage of doing stories here.
Press the like, subscribe, and bell icon, and don't forget to order from We the Chefs to taste the stories of our home chefs.